Right.
No, actually, stage ump. That is not what you said when Teoscar Hernandez had a questionable check swing that could have ended the game and instead turned into a ridiculously epic comeback for the Dodgers in a win against Colorado. But fans were pissed. It does feel like the Dodgers are, an evil empire of sorts. So when you do get a call like this, many others on baseball social media started freaking out. So first, let's just start with the check swing, because eventually, obviously, it leads to a homer and a win for LA. Check swing or nah?
I mean, they had a 5-run lead in the ninth. They got to hold on to that. I'm sorry. I don't care if there's a check swing or no check swing. But then the next pitch, he throws right down the middle and he hits a homer. So listen, I tell my kids all the time, listen, bad calls are going to happen. And listen, I argued with the best of them, but can you bounce back? And mistakes happen, errors happen, whatever, you strike out. Can someone else on your team pick you up? And right there, the pitcher needed to pick him up. And obviously he didn't. Teoscar hit the home run. And then the Rockies still batted in the bottom of the ninth. They still could have scored. They didn't. So, I mean, listen, it's not because of the call. Yeah, maybe. Did he swing? Probably. But did they call it? No. I mean, here's the Super Mo, but still, I mean, I don't know. I've seen worse than that called and worse than that not called. So, it's such a judgment call. And a lot of times you have to understand, too, umpires don't want to end games on those calls. They just really don't want to end games on those calls.
The old black bat. Can't see the black bat, right, AJ? Can't see the check swing. Although I guess he had a two-tone bat, so I guess that doesn't apply there. Jake Cave, that video of Jake Cave yelling at the end of it where he's yelling at the first base umpire, people are like, whatever, the Rockies, they stink or whatever. If you wonder if big league players on bad teams want to win, Jake Cave's reaction at the end of this is a clear indication. He turns around, ball hasn't even landed yet, and he is so pissed. It's a one-run game against the Dodgers, and their team is 22 games below 500, and he is irate. If you don't think they care, save that take for whatever you got to take it somewhere else, because they do care. But boy, was I excited when Lance did not call that, because that helped my bet to hit last night. So thank you very much, Dodgers and Lance Barksdale.
True. And back to what AJ said for a moment. I mean, it's not like one-run game, one pitch leads to a walk, blah, 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 whatever. Like, it was...
They had a 5-run lead going to the ninth.
Yeah.
Not a 1-run lead. It was 5. They gave up 7 in the ninth. They gave up a 7 spot. So Bud Black could be pissed at Lance Barksdale. Maybe he should go in and yell at his pitchers.
Mm-hmm.
Again, they had a 5-run lead going to the ninth.
Yeah.
And they had hammered Buehler, and I don't know. I mean, listen, I appreciate Jake Cave getting pissed. I appreciate Bud Black standing up for his guys. Not as much as Mike Shildt stood up for his guys, and I wanted to ask Cortara about that when we had him on. Didn't have a chance. But, I mean, did you see Mike Shildt, what he did the other day? That was awesome. We haven't even talked about it.
We can talk about it for a second, because a few people in the chat mentioned it. Didn't he say something specific to that?
They literally kicked him out of the game.
Yeah.
Well, they kicked Manny out of the game, Machado, and he comes out to the umpire, and he just says, I think you're right, and that ball's probably low. You guys do a great job, but I have to get a run right here. So I'm just gonna stand here until you throw me out. And the umpire's like, okay, I got you. And he's like, are you ready to put on the show yet? And they do a whole breakdown of this, and it's funny because it's hot mic, so you can read his lips perfectly. And he's like, no, I'm ready whenever. I just have to be kicked out because I have to stand up for my player. And the umpire's like, okay, you ready? And he's like, yeah. And they're like, oh, you're gone. And Shildt there, he's like, okay, good job. And he turns and walks off, and then I think Dan Isunga, the crew chief, comes over, and he goes, he knows what's wrong. He goes, good job. You should have thrown me out, And that was it, and he walked off.
Do you think it's stupid, though? I mean, it's funny, but do you also think it's stupid if you're the player? Like, do you really need that?
I don't know. I'm not in that position. I'm not Manny Machado. I'm not AJ Przinsky. So this is more of a starting players conversation.
Star player, even. I wouldn't even say starting, right? Like a star player. Like but it depends on the person, right? After the game,
I wouldn't have cared. But
you wouldn't care.
I actually think it's more funny that he did what he did. I remember one time I got kicked out of a game. We showed it the other day, and Robin Ventura came out to argue with Jim Joyce, and Jim told him, he goes, yeah, I know the umpire's bad. And Robin's like, well, I'm just arguing because my catcher got kicked out in the 3rd inning. And Jim goes, I know. He goes, it was a horrible call. He's missed a bunch. He's a young guy. Give him a break. And Robin's like, all right, where are you going to dinner tonight? And Jim's like, I don't know. He's like, you got any good ideas for me? He's like, yeah, I'll send you a note later. And then Robin walks off. He got kicked out. But it was just funny because like it had nothing to do. Like that's the way an umpire should handle it. Like, yeah, okay. The manager too is like, Shildt like, yeah, I got to go, but I'm not going to make a scene because he didn't want to get fined. He doesn't want to. So just throw me out. He's just like, he literally is like, just, I got to get run. So I'm waiting.
But sometimes dudes are legit pissed. Like we had Pizarro on earlier, and he's like, you're wrong. I don't believe in this. I'm pissed. It's not Boy Who Cried Wolf because I never do this.
Yeah.
And he's showing the fire. But
that was fine because he was pissed. And that call was bad because he was clearly blocking the base. Mm-hmm. That's the rule, right? That was the whole rule. So, it was. But yeah, sometimes sometimes the stories are better when they don't. They look like they're yelling, but they're really not saying anything.
That's where you've gotten some really good commercials. I remember as a kid, you'd always get like the, umpire talking to the manager, and he's like, same thing. What do you have for dinner? Did you get rice-a-roni? Yeah, it's the best shit ever. Blah blah blah. So.
Well, have you ever seen there's a famous one, and if you haven't seen it, Google it. It's Tom Hallion and Terry Collins.
We brought that one up the other day.
Syndergaard hits Chase Utley, throws at Chase Utley. And Terry's like, that's horseshit. And Tom Hallion handled it perfectly. Like, that should be a 101 umpiring how to handle it. He's like, I know, Terry. I know, but I got to do what I got to do because the league is on my ass. And he's like, that's, horseshit.
Ass
that's
in the
serious.
Jackpot or whatever.
Yeah.
We just had that.
It's awesome. But that should be umpiring 101 and managing 101. Like, they both knew what was going on, but they handled it, like, perfectly, and that should be out there.
I agree.
1 in 5 Americans have learn a new language on their bucket list, and it's been on my list, and I'm actually working on my Spanish right now. If this sounds like you, make 2024 the year you finally check it off the list with Babbel. Be a better you in 2024 with Babbel, the science-backed language learning app that actually works. Don't pay hundreds of dollars for private tutors or waste hours on apps that don't really help you speak the language. Babbel's designed by real people for real conversations. We love the word real on FT. I was recently in South America, and I plan on going back after I tackle Babbel's courses that help you learn real-life conversation skills in a different language. The real help you need, like how to order food or ask for directions without having to consult language apps. Also, Babbel's speech recognition technology helps you improve your pronunciation and your accent. Here's a special limited time deal for our listeners. Right now, get up to 60% off your Babbel subscription, but only for our listeners at FT at Babbel.com/foul territory. Get up to 60% off at Babbel.com/foul territory, spelled BABBEL.com/foul territory. Rules and restrictions may apply. With Babbel, you can learn everything you need to have real-world conversations, from vocab words to culture, and all it takes is just 10 minutes a day.
Hey everybody, be sure to like and subscribe for more content.
We're back here every weekday, all year long, so do not miss an episode.
The videos are coming in all day. Here's another video you might enjoy.
Baseball the way it should be covered.